Okay, so sorry about the delay, you guys, and there still will be a little bit of delay in this because today my lovely wife, who I do love and hold very near and dear to my heart, she likes to read her Bible on her break at work, and so she sits out in the car, and she left the key in the accessory position on the car, and the battery ran dead. So I'm waiting on her to get back. Our dinner got postponed. Everything kind of got postponed for us tonight. And I'm still waiting for her to come back. So when she gets back, I'll need a couple of minutes of an intermission. But tonight we are going to continue in Numbers. And I'm very excited to do so. We left off, I think we finished chapter 18. We're going to read chapter 18 again and go to chapter 27. I thought about just finishing it out tonight. I might go a little bit farther than 27. We'll see what 27 brings. I'm very, very, very excited to knock this out with you, though. It's been a very, I mean, all in all, it's been a really good day. All things for a reason. All things work out for the good to them that love God. So, I mean, I don't, I just don't stress anything. Like, I'm hoping you guys are having a really good day. I hope you guys brought your Bibles, pens, paper, the usual. Don't know who's the one that's in here, but if that's you, Brunette, what up? Um, do. Last night was 5.5 hour stream. Holy shit. So, tonight's definitely not going to be 5.5 hours. That is for sure. I'm just waiting for my wife to get home, though. Either way, tonight's going to be Numbers. Continuing on. Numbers 18 is where we left off at. I find it funny. Even Nick is still making videos, right? And but when he made this last video he made about being equal with God, he left out the scriptures that say that that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to think it's not robbery to make yourself equal with God, not above, but equal, absolutely equal. Sinners make themselves equal with the devil. Every time they sin, they serve sin. A believer is supposed to be equal to God. That's why in Revelation chapter 3, verse, in fact, I will back that up. In Revelation chapter 3, like, yeah, with God, it's believing the promises, man. Abraham believed the promises. Everybody, that's what they did. They believed the promises, and that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to believe the promises. To him that overcometh, will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in His throne. So that's what it's about. It's about believing the promises, and I mean, it's believing the scriptures. It's trusting the scriptures over everything, trusting the Bible over everything. Okay, now the wife is home. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay. Whew. I had to empty the car real quick and get my fucking hello honey kisses. So where do we leave off? Yeah, Nick still making videos about me, but leaves out the scriptures. Leaves out Philippians where he says, "Let this mind be in you. It was also in Christ Jesus, who thought it not robbery to be equal with God." He considers us brothers. We're co-heirs with the inheritance. That's exactly what that is. Even in Revelation, he tells you the overcomer sits in a throne. That's what it. That's what this whole is. That's what it's about. That's it. It's about believing the promises and then receiving them, making sure you believe until you receive them, right? And even if you don't, you go to sleep. You wait patiently. You wait patiently. It's a forever deal. Like being birthed, coming out of the matrix is a forever deal. Some unto life, some unto everlasting death. It's just is what it is. So we're doing numbers. We're continuing on to numbers tonight. Sorry, everybody. This has been kind of a hectic day for us. But it's a good day nonetheless. We left off at 18. We're going to redo 8. We're going to redo 18, and we're going to keep going. 27 would be the next stop point. But I mean, I don't know. Or maybe we'll do 27 and we can finish up Hebrews. The people that were here last night that were listening in on Hebrews, I mean, we can finish up Hebrews too. So I'm good with that. But either way, 4 numbers for the playlist called Old Testament Read-Alongs. It is showing you that every verse, every fucking dot, comma, and semicolon is it's there. It's not going to change. It just means what it says. So, and that's we go over the whole thing, and that's what it's about. So Numbers chapter 18, verse 1. Hope you guys are having a good night. And the Lord said unto Aaron, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. Oh, we were talking about this last night. We were actually talking about this in Hebrews last night about the Levitical priesthood versus the priesthood of Melchizedek, the different priesthoods, right? So you got the priesthood with Aaron, the Levites, which is try and keep the law and fail, and you've got Melchizedek, which is he kept the law for you. There is no failing it. It's that's what it is. So and the Lord said unto Aaron, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. And they shall keep thy charge and the charge of all the tabernacle, only they shall not come near the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor ye also die. I would also like to point out a verse that we didn't touch on last night. We didn't make it, and you can tie that to this. This is actually perfect. Tied to verse 1, Numbers 18, verse 1. In Hebrews, he says, "They have no right to eat." 13:10. Yeah, Hebrews 13:10. That's why I wanted to finish Hebrews last night. But Hebrews 13:10 explains this to you. So you've got the two different priesthoods. You've got the Levitical priesthood, which is the people like Melvin and Troy Taylor and Jew Dave. You got the Levitical priesthood with the people that are like, oh, you got to keep that law, right? And then all you do is fail it. And then you've got the priesthood of Melchizedek, which is Christ, which is perfection in all things. And that's who Abraham paid tithes to. So Hebrews 13, and technically even the Levitical priesthood paid tithes to that priesthood. And they do. And they will in the end. We have an altar, being the believers, whereof they have no right to eat at, which serve the tabernacle. Period. We have an altar of which they have no right to eat at, that serve the tabernacle. So not even technically, not even Aaron would have the right to eat at the table that Moses does, or that Abraham did. Right? Technicalities. Aaron was a believer though, so it was above and beyond that. And they shall keep the charge of the charge, or they should keep the charge, keep thy charge and the charge. Well, we'll just start it over. Numbers 18:1. And the Lord said unto Aaron, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. And they shall keep thy charge and the charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come near the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor ye also die. And they shall be joined, unto thee, and keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation for all the service of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not come near unto you. I was like a few days ago, man. It's like his second to last video. And you shall keep the charge of the sanctuary and the charge of the altar, that there be no wrath any more upon the children of Israel. Unless he deleted it, but we got screenshots of it. So. And they shall keep the charge of the sanctuary and the charge of the altar, that there be no wrath any more upon the children of Israel. If you don't keep it, you break it. If you break it, there's wrath. And I, behold, I have taken your brethren, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. To you they are given as a gift for the Lord to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. This is where he gives everything to them. That therefore thou and thy sons with thee shall keep your priest office for everything of the altar and within the veil, and you shall serve within that veil between the holy and the holiest of holies, between the sanctuary and that holiest of holies. And you shall serve. That was the veil, by the way, that was ripped in half when Jesus died. Right, that was that veil that got ripped in half. Yeah, that thing that the ones that know, they know. Therefore, thou and thy sons with thee shall keep your priest office for everything of the altar and within the veil, and you shall serve. I have given your priest office unto you as a service of gift, and the stranger that cometh near shall be put to death. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, Behold, I also have given thee the charge of my heave offerings, of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel. Unto thee have I given them by reason of the anointing, and to thy sons by an ordinance forever. This shall be thine of the most holy things, reserved from fire, every oblation of theirs, every meat offering of theirs, and every sin offering of theirs, and every trespass offering of theirs, which they shall render unto me, shall be most holy for thee and for thy sons. So he's just giving everything that Israel brings to the tabernacle. He's just giving it all to Aaron and his sons. In the most holy place shalt thou eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy unto thee. And this is thine, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them unto thee, and to thy sons, and to thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. Everyone that is clean in thy house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, all the best of the wine, all the best of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto the Lord, them have I given thee. And whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto the Lord, shall be thine. Everyone that is clean in thine house shall eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel shall be thine. Everything that openeth the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beast, shall be thine. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shalt thou surely redeem. That being the allegorical, like he said, the firstborn of every man, every beast, every everything. But the firstborn of man they have to redeem. So that redemption is the signification of what Jesus was going to do for the human race, and that redemption is to bring the lamb without blemish in exchange. That's the redemption. You have to bring a lamb to redeem it, otherwise it's his. And the firstling of unclean beasts shalt thou redeem, and those that are to be redeemed from a month old shalt thou redeem, according to thine estimation, for the money of 5 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the firstling of a cow, or the firstling of a sheep, or the firstling of a goat, thou shalt not redeem. They are holy. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and shalt burn their fat for an offering made by fire, for sweet savor unto the Lord. See, the people were allowed to be redeemed. These things were not, because those things had to get burned. So the things that could not be redeemed get burned. Just like if you choose not to get redeemed, you get burned. If you choose to keep serving sin, you're going to get burned. Verse 18, and the flesh of them shall be thine, as the wave breast and the right shoulder and the flesh of them shall be thine, as the wave breast and as the right shoulder are thine. All the heave offerings of the holy things, which the children of Israel offer unto the Lord, have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord unto thee and to thy seed with thee. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. And that's God telling Aaron he will have no part among these people, period. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance. Dave, I am joyful of nothing that comes out of Israel. I'm very sad for Israel. I'm very sad for your people. I'm very sad for you. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come near the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die, because that's what sin ends in. 23. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. Okay, Dave, you've piqued my interest. Just speak your mind, so I can continue on with reading. The Bible. What news? And wait, what's that got to do with anything? I don't care. Yeah, sure. She believes in Jesus about as much as you do. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Somebody should just ask her if she still sins. She still sins. She don't believe in Jesus. And last I checked, don't you have an election coming? Lapid means nothing. You guys have no king. There's no king there in Israel right now. There's no king, even if they elect Netanyahu again. There's no king. You guys don't have a king. You guys do not have what you were supposed to have, and you did that to yourselves. Anyway, so I'm going to continue. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come near the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said unto them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, when you take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then you shall offer up a heave offering of it for the Lord, even a tenth part of the tithe. So when they took the tithes of the people, they still had to offer up a tenth part. And this is your heave offering your heave offering shall be reckoned unto you as though it were the corn of the threshing floor, and as the fullness of the winepress. Thus you shall offer a heave offering unto the Lord of all your tithes, which you receive of the children of Israel, and you shall give thereof the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. Out of all your gifts you shall offer every heave offering of the Lord, of all the best thereof, even the hallowed part thereof out of it. He wants the best, best of the best of the best of the best of the best. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, when you have heaved the best thereof from it, then it shall be counted unto the Levites as the increase of the threshing floor, and as the increase of the winepress. And you shall eat it in every place, you and your households, for it is your reward for your service in the tabernacle of the congregation, and you shall bear no sin by reason of it. When you have heaved it when you have heaved from it the best of it, neither shall you pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest you die. See this? You shall bear no sin by reason of it. You know what? Aaron believed it. no sin. Numbers 19. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And you shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times, and one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the even. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. But if you remember correctly, it is only for non-intentional sin, period. If you're going to go by the law, there is no atonement for intentional sin. And he says, if you sin, you are cut off without that atonement. He also says at the end of Exodus that if anybody replicates any of this in these days, it is counted to him as sin. So all the shit that they're doing in Israel right now is sin. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and lay them without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is purification for sin. And I want to show you this because this was for the tabernacle in the wilderness. So I do want to show you. I'm gonna just Google it because it's easier, right? To find the verse where he says that replicating any of these things is sin. Replicating any of these things is sin. Verse. Should be end of Exodus somewhere. Oh, it's not giving me anything on that. Nope. Leviticus 5:17. Let me see if it might be Leviticus. Let's see. Leviticus 5. I don't think it is, though. I'm pretty sure it's the very end of Exodus. And he made it very clear. All right, let me see. It is the end of Exodus. It has to be the end of Exodus. Oh, the question is just where. I know it was in the last video. Yes, this is going to be where it is. $37, $38. So when they go to redo all this shit like they're trying to right now, it is sin for them. They didn't do it right the first time. They're done, and they still to this day they can't wrap their mind around that. And he told them then. Where is it? Troy will owe you $5,000 if you go to a bookstore and you pick up a Bible and say here, because that's where I get it from, the Bible. He just refuses to acknowledge that. He doesn't want to acknowledge that the Bible says he's not saved. He can't do it. He can't swallow his pride. Oh, let's see. Recipes. It was really at the very end of this. It says 40. Sorry, I really want to find this verse. And like he said it about the holy oil too, specifically about the holy oil. Looks like we're reading Exodus 2 tonight. Just kidding. But in retrospect, let's see. Go to where is it? Do. Let me see this because it's probably the same thing. Not reproduce the anointing oil. Exodus 30:32. Okay, see, I told you it wasn't the end of Exodus. Just a few chapters before 30:32. Right here. Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured, neither shall you make the composition of it is holy. Whoever compoundeth any like it, or whosoever putteth any of it upon a stranger shall even be cut off from his people. You're not supposed to fucking, according to their law, they're not supposed to replicate this shit. There's a reason why it's all gone. Even right there, without the holy oil, they have nothing anyway. Whosoever shall make like unto that to smell thereto shall even be cut off from his people. I mean, it doesn't matter what they do. And thou shalt bear some of it very small, and put it in the testimony of the tabernacle and the congregation. I will meet with thee. It shall be unto you most holy. And as for the perfume which thou shalt make, you shall not make to yourselves according to the composition thereof. It shall be unto thee holy for the Lord. Whosoever shall make like unto that to smell thereto shall even be cut off from his people. Okay. It's a little. They're not supposed to replicate the shit. And a man that is clean, Numbers 19:9. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and lay them up without the camp in a clean place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. And if he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even, and it shall be unto the children of Israel and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them for a statute forever. Done. Boom. Purification of the unclean, and it's for the stranger with them too. So anybody that wants to, oh yeah, I believe in God. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the third day, and on the seventh day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the third day, then the seventh day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord. And that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. Have any of you ever touched the dead body of a loved one? Ever? No, if you didn't do the process for purification and sanctification, if you did not purify yourself, then you were cut off from Israel forever, if you want to go by the law. This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which hath no covering bound upon it is unclean. And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with the sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person, they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water and sprinkle it upon the tent and upon all the vessels and upon the persons that were there and upon him that touched a bone or one slain or one dead or a grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the third day and on the seventh day. And on the seventh day he shall purify himself and wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and shall be clean at even. But the man that shall be unclean and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he hath defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of separation hath not been sprinkled upon him. He is unclean. That's all part of the law. That is all part of the law. So if you've ever gone to a funeral, right, and you didn't go through the processes and sprinkle that water of separation, you're done. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them, that he that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean until even. And whatsoever the unclean person toucheth shall be unclean. The soul that toucheth it shall be unclean until even. Numbers chapter 20, verse 1. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month, and the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron again, because they never believed. And the people chode with Moses and spake, saying, Would God that we would have died when our brethren died before the Lord. And why have you brought us up? Why have you brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore have you made us to come up out of Egypt to bring us into this evil place? It is no place of seed or of figs or of vines or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. And Moses and Aaron went forth from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak you unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give them forth his water. And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give up thou shalt give the congregation and the beasts and their beasts drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now, you rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his head. Or here we go. I'm gonna just go back to 9. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now. What does he call them? What did he call them? Rebels, rebellious children, stiff-necked generation, absolutely blind to everything. Hear now, you rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with the rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beast also. Now, let's see about this. God tells Moses, take the rod, and gather thou assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother. And what did God tell Moses? He said, Speak unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So shalt thou give the congregation and their beast drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, you rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. He even counted it twice. God counted it twice. God told him to speak to the rock. He said, speak to it, not hit it. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, Because you believed me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. So he still kept his word, but not for the ones that sinned. He did kill all the ones that sinned in the wilderness. The Old Testament's very clear about that. The New Testament's very clear about that. It was never for the ones that sinned. It was for the ones that had no knowledge of good and evil. But he's just telling Moses, because you hid it instead of speaking to it, well, now you're not going in. Now you're not going into that land. And if you look at let's see, I'll show you the rock of Meribah. There it is. The rock of Meribah, where the water poured out, where it split right down the middle, and nobody can explain that shit. That's how the Bible rolls, and it's still there. It is still there today. So this is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel. Oh, and you know what's a really good thing to point out here with this Moses thing, right? About God was very specific. He gave Moses a very specific word. The word, right? The word. He said, "Speak unto the rock," and Moses chose to hit it. Now, Moses still had grace in the eyes of God. Moses was still a believer, and it wasn't sin for Moses, but because he did that, he didn't get to enter into the promised land. And that again is the same thing. Like if you don't line up with the word, then you're not going to enter in. It just is what it is. I mean, it just is what it is. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time. And the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed by thy borders. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel. Aaron shall be gathered unto his people. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded. And they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there in the top of the mount. Am I back now? Should be back now. Yo, can you guys see me? Okay. Oh, my internet cut out. Okay. All right. Sorry, the internet cut out. I don't know what the fuck. At least where I'm at, it sucks. That's just aggravating. Oh, so Aaron. All right. So I'll go back to verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up unto Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there in the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel. Pretty hardcore. Which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies. Then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. Shy, shy. Hang on a second. Hang on, honey. Okay. And when King, am I back? All right. And when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened unto the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the. Oh, this is this chapter. Yeah, let's have some fun. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. See that? There was much discouraged. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have you brought us up? Did you still need Jai? Shiloh, your mom was calling you. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in this wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. They hated the manna. They were not grateful at all for what God had done for them. Not at all. And this is like the 13th time. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much of Israel died. Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, We have. What was the problem? They had. What does that say? They did what? What was the fucking problem? For we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he may take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, Make thee a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when it looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it on a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. Now you guys will see this. You'll actually see this in the like if you look at the back of an ambulance, that little medical symbol, it's serpents wrapped around a pole of brass. You see this in everyday things that you would never guess. Here, we'll look it up. Let's see. Medical logo. Let's see what it comes up with. Not that one, not that. There it is. Boom. This one. See the serpent on the brass pole, right? And that's where that comes from. That's where that comes from. They get bit by the serpent, they look at the brass pole, and they'd be healed. And it's the same thing that goes to um, what is it? Him Jesus being made a curse for us, but it was the allegor. It was the foreshadow of the things that were to come, is what it was. Uh, became sin for us, came sin who knew no sin, meant who knew no sin. 2 Corinthians 5:21, right here. 2 Corinthians 5:21. Well, Dave, if you knew anything about Satanism, you would know that Satanism is all about duality. You have to have a good and an evil. That's what Satanism is duality. That's why you see black and white checkered floors in almost every motherfucking movie you watch, every motherfucking cartoon, every movie, everywhere you go. It's always about duality. That's Satanism. 2 Corinthians 5:21. For he hath made him to be sin for us who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God in him. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he had beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth and pitched in Ijerabim, in the wilderness which is before Moab, toward the sunrising. From thence they removed and pitched in the valley of Zered. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coast of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, what he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Arnon, and at the stream of the brooks that goeth down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth upon the border of Moab. And from thence they went to Beer, and that is the well whereof the Lord spake unto Moses, gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, the nobles of the people digged it, by the direction of the lawgiver with their staves, and from the wilderness they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Barmoth, and from Bamoth in the valley that is the country of Moab to the top of Pisgah, which looked toward Jershimon. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through thy land, and we will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from Arnon to Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon. For the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities. And Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon and in the villages thereof. For Heshbon was in the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, Come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It hath consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab! Thou art undone. O people of Chemosh, he hath given his sons that escaped and his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished even unto Dibon, and we have laid them waste even unto Nophah, which reacheth unto Medeba. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof and drove out the Amorites that were there. Just in case anybody's wondering, this is what you have a map in the back of your Bible for. Map of the route in the wilderness. help you. See if we can find something that actually comes in right. Not the Exodus. I spelled it wrong anyway. This is what you've got maps in the back of your Bible for. This one looks to be, the more I zoom in, oh, maybe not. Let me see. Okay. Edom, Moab. So right now, right up here. Maybe right up here. Because they did do this whole big circle, wilderness of Zin. We just read about that. And they went down and they went all the way through up here through Edom. They wouldn't let them pass through. Moab, they wouldn't let them pass through. And they just took it anyway. All right. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof and drew out the Amorites that were there. And they turned and went up the way of Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to the battle of Edrei. And the Lord said unto Moses, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people, and his land. And thou shalt do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. So they smote him, and his sons, and all his people, until there was none left him alive, and they possessed his land. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab on this side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was sore afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. Woo-hoo. We had French bread pizza for dinner. That shit was bomb. And Moab was sore afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, Now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as an ox licketh up the grass of the field. And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messengers, therefore, unto Balaam, the son of Beor, to Pethor. Now remember this story? You guys will like this. Which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom thou blessed is blessed, and he whom thou cursed is cursed. So Balak goes to Balaam, right? Balak goes to Balaam and is like, curse this people for me, because I heard that whoever you curse is cursed, and whoever you bless is blessed. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand, and they came unto Balaam and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Lord shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And God came unto Balaam and said, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them, peradventure I should be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. And Balaam rose up in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, Get you into your land, for the Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went unto Balak, and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. And Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they, and they came to Balaam and said unto him, And they came to Balaam and said unto him, Thus saith Balak, the son of Zippor, Let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me. For I will promote thee unto very great honor. And I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of my God. I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Can't go past the word to do less or more. It's not going to make a difference. Now, therefore, I pray you, tarry you also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. And God came unto Balaam at night, and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. So he didn't, right here, God told him, if they come to call you, if they come to call you, right? If the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I say unto thee, that shalt thou do. He didn't wait for them. He just got up and went with them. And God's anger was kindled because he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. And the ass saw that the angel of the Lord was standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself unto a wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn, either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw that the angel of the Lord, and when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. So he starts hitting the donkey with the stick. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Never, or was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, no. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn and in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. He didn't do what the word said. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her alive. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have... See it? And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that shalt thou speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. And this is talked about in Hebrews, I think, because he loved the wages of unrighteousness. He didn't listen to God. He didn't care what God had to say. He just went and did what he wanted to anyway. Because fucking Balak told him that he would give him whatever he wanted if he would just curse the people. But even though God told him, the people aren't going to be cursed. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the utmost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? Am I not able indeed to promote thee to honor? And Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I am come unto thee. Have I not any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came unto Kirjath. This is a fun one. Kirjath Huzoth. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent unto Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high place of Baal, that thence he might see the utmost part of the people. Numbers 23, verse 1. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 oxen and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered on every offer a bullock and a ram. And Balaam said unto Balak, stand by thy burnt offering, and I will go peradventure, the Lord will come to meet me. And whatsoever he showeth me, I will tell thee. And he went to a high place. And God met Balaam, and said he unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. And the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth, and said, speak unto Balak, and thus shalt thou speak. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his parable and said, Balak the king of Moab hath brought me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east, saying, come, curse me, Jacob, and come, defy Israel. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy whom the Lord hath not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, and the number of the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. I love that. Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. And Balak said unto Balaam, what hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse my enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. And he answered and said, must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? And Balak said unto him, come, I pray thee, with me unto another place, from whence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the utmost part of them, and shalt not see them all, and curse me them from thence. And he brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. And he said unto Balak, stand here by thy burnt offering, while I meet the Lord yonder. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, go again unto Balak, and say thus. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what hath the Lord spoken? And he took up his parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? We tried this yesterday. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18, which said, by 2 immutable things for which it is impossible for God to lie. Proverbs 30, verse 5, every word of God is pure. Numbers 23, 19, God does not lie. The book doesn't lie. Whoever sins is of the devil. The entire problem that they had the entire way through the wilderness was they sinned, and every time the Jews sinned, he killed all the ones that sinned. The ones that sinned never made it in. He gave it to Caleb, and he gave it to the ones with no knowledge of good and evil. We get into all that. Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. See? Only the ones that couldn't sin. The ones that sinned, they all died, or they had to look to the bronze serpent. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of his prey, and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said unto Balaam, neither curse them at all, or bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I thee, saying, all that the Lord speaketh, that I must do. Excuse me. And Balak said unto Balaam, come, I pray thee, I will bring thee unto another place. Peradventure, it will please God that thou mayest curse me them from thence. And Balak brought Balaam unto the... Doesn't it sound like fucking... He just won't leave him alone. He's like, I can't say anything else. And he just won't leave him alone. It's like stalking this dude. Curse me these people. Curse me these people. And he just won't leave him alone. He told him no like 100 times. Every time somebody sins, they forsake God. Every time they sin, they forsake Jesus. Every time they sin, they serve the devil. That's it. There's a way out. He made a way out. You got to find it. And Balak said unto Balaam, Come, I pray thee, I will bring thee unto another place. Peradventure it will please God that thou mayest curse me them from thence. And Balak brought Balaam unto the top of Peor, and looketh toward Jeshimon. And Balaam said to Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam said, and offered a bullock and a ram by every altar. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments. But he set his face towards the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel. As the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the river's edge, by the riverside, as the trees of line aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as cedar trees besides the waters. He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. He couched, he lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. Therefore now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, the Lord hath kept thee back from honor. Now notice how the sinner here, who wants God to curse Israel, is trying to then curse the guy who just went by the word. It doesn't work that way. And Balaam said to Balak, Spake I not also to thy messengers which thou sentest to me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord to do either good or bad of my own hand. But what the Lord saith, that will I speak. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come, therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not near. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth. It's for the latter days. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. It's a great fucking prophecy, isn't it? Star out of Jacob. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And he looked on the Kenites, and took up this parable and said, Strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenites shall be wasted, until Ashur shall carry thee away captive. And he took up his parable and said, Alas, who shall live when God doeth this? The ship shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Ashur, and shall afflict Eber, and he also shall perish forever. And Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place. And Balak also went his way. I'm surprised he didn't kill him. But here we go. And Israel abode at Shittim, and the people began again to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. But God's not talking about sleeping with them. He's talking about this. And they called the people unto the sacrifice of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. That's the whoredom. When you bow to the devil, when you sin, you're committing whoredom. You're committing adultery on God. You're cheating on God. When you see, God created all things and He reconciled all things. And the works were finished from the beginning of the world. Even Moses knew that. Abraham fucking knew that, right? God created all things. They trusted in the promise. Abraham trusted in the promise. When you serve sin, you serve the devil. Every time you sin, you serve the devil. Going back and saying, sorry, God, I served the devil again, does not mean you serve God. It means you still serve the devil. Repentance is not saying sorry for serving the devil. Repentance is trusting God and turning from sin forever. Forever. There is no sin. Trusting that His promise is good, right? So the whoredom that they committed here was that they still serve sin. They bowed down to the other gods, right? That's what it is. It's Baal, right? He says S, but it doesn't matter. Anytime you sin, you serve Baal. And that's the whoredom he's talking about. It's okay, though. We'll get into it a little deeper. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. That's what they did. That's what they do. That's what Judah does. He joined himself to Baal Peor. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel, and those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, hath turned away wrath from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Ishmaelite that was slain, now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head over a people and the chief house of a woman. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, vex the Midianites and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you. They have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague of Peor's sake. They joined themselves under Baal Peor. No. And it came to pass after the plague that the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, saying, take the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, from 20 years old and upward, throughout their father's house, all that are able to go to war in Israel. And Moses and Eleazar the priest spake with them in the plains of Moab by the Jordan near Jericho, saying, take the sum of the people from 20 years old and upward, as the Lord commanded Moses and the children of Israel, which went forth into the land of Egypt. Reuben, the eldest son of Israel, the children of Reuben, Hanak, of whom cometh the family of the Hanakites, of Palu, the family of the Paluites, of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Carmi, the family of the Carmites, These are the families of the Reubenites, and they that were numbered of them were 43,730. 43,730. And the sons of Pelu, Eliab, the sons of Eliab, Nemuel, and Dathan, and Abiram. That is the Dathan, that Dathan and Abiram, my bad. That and the sons of Eliab, Nemuel, and Dathan, and Abiram. That is that Dathan and Abiram, which were famous in the congregation, who strove against Moses and against Aaron in the company of Korah when they strove against the Lord. And that was when the earth swallowed them up. And the earth, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah when that company died. What time the fire devoured 250 men, and they became a sign. Notwithstanding, the children of Korah died not. The sons of Simeon after their families, of Nemuel, of the family of Nemulites, of Jamin, the family of the Jaminites, of Jachin, the family of the Jachinites, of Zerah, the family of the Zerites, of Shaul, the family of the Shaulites. These are the families of the Simeonites, 20 and 2,200. The children of Gad after their families, of Zephon, the family of the Zephonites, of Haggai, the family of Haggites, of Shunai, of the family of the Shunites, of Ozni, of the family of Ozniites, of Eri, the family of the Erites, of Erod, the family of the Erodites, of Areli, the family of the Arelites. These are the families of the children of Gad, according to the houses, according to those that were numbered of them, 40,500. The sons of Judah were Er and Onan, and Er and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Judah after their families were of Shelah, the family of the Shelonites, of Pharez, the family of the Pharezites, of Zerah, of the family of the Zerites. Of the sons of Pharez were of Hezron, the family of the Hezronites, of Hamuel, the family of the Hemulites. These are the families of Judah according to those that were numbered of them, 76,500. Three score 16,500. 76,500. Of the sons of Issachar after their families, of Tola, the family of the Tolites, of Puah, the family of the Punites, of Jashub, the family of the Jashubites, of Shimron, the family of the Shimronites. These are the families of Issachar, according to those that were numbered of them, 64,000, 64,300. Of the sons of Zebulun after their families, of Sered, the family of the Seredites, of Elon, the family of the Elonites, of Jahil, the family of the Jaelites. These are the families of the Zebulunites, according to those that were numbered of them, three score thousand, so 60,500. The sons of Joseph after their families were Manasseh and Ephraim. Of the sons of Manasseh, Machir, the family of the Machirites, and Machir begat Gilead, and Gilead come of Gilead come the Gileadites. These are the sons of Gilead, of Jezer, of the family of the Jezerites, of Helek, the family of the Helekites, and of Asriel, the family of the Asrielites, and of Shechem, the family of the Shechemites, and of Shemida, the family of the Shemidaites, of Hefer, the family of the Heferites, of Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, had no sons, but daughters. And the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mala and Noah, Hagla, Milcah, and Tisra. These are the families of Manasseh, and those that were numbered of them, 50 and 2,700. Milcah. That name comes up later. These are the sons of Ephraim after their families of Shuthalah, the family of the Shuthalites, of Becher, the family of the Becherites, of Taman, of the family of the Tahanites. And these are the sons of Shuthalah, of Aran, the family of the Aaronites. These are the families of the sons of Ephraim, according to those that were numbered of them, 30 and 2,500. These are the sons of Joseph after their families. The sons of Benjamin after their families, of Bela, the family of the Belabites, of Eshbel, the family of the Ashbelites, of Ahiram, the family of the Ahamites, of Shupam, the family of the Shufamites, of Hopham, the family of the Huphamites, of the sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman, of Ard, the family of the Ardites, of Naaman, the family of the Naamites. These are the sons of Benjamin after their families, and they that were numbered of them were 40 and 5,600. These are the sons of Dan after their families, of Shuham, the family of the Shuamites. These are the families of Dan after their families. All the families of the Shuamites, according to those that were numbered of them, were 64,400. The tribe of Asher. Of the children of Asher, after their families, of Jimnah, the family of the Jimnites. Of Jesui, the family of the Jesuites. Of Beriah, the family of the Beriites. Of the sons of Beriah, of Heber, the family of the Herebites. Of Melchiel, the family of the Melchielites. Of the name of the daughter of Asher was Sarah. These are the families of the sons of Asher, according to those that were numbered of them, who were 50,003,400. Women are counted. The tribe of Naphtali. Of the sons of Naphtali, after their families, of Jaziel, the family of the Jazielites. Of Gunai, the family of the Gunites. Of Jezer, the family of the Jezerites. Of Shalem, the family of the Shilemites. These are the families of Naphtali, according to their families, and they that were numbered of them were 40,005,400. These were the numbered children of Israel, 600,000 and 1,730. 600,000, 601,730. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Unto these the land shall be divided for an inheritance according to the number of names. To many thou shalt give the more inheritance, and to few thou shalt give the less inheritance. To every one shall his inheritance be given according to those that were numbered of him. Notwithstanding, the land shall be divided by lot. According to the names of the tribes of their fathers they shall inherit. According to the lot shall the possession thereof be divided by between many and few. And when he says by the lot, he's talking about throwing some dice for it. And these are they that were numbered of the Levites after their families. Of Gershon, the family of the Gershonites. Of Kohath, the family of the Kohathites. Of Merari, the family of the Merariites. These are the family of the Malites. The family of the Mushites, the family of the Korathites. And Kohath begat Amram, and the name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, and the daughter of Levi, whom her mother bare to Levi in Egypt. And she bare unto Amram Aaron and Moses, and Miriam their sister. And unto Aaron was born Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. And Nadab and Abihu died when they offered strange fire before the Lord. And those that were numbered of them were 23,000, all males from a month old and upward, for they were not numbered among the children of Israel, because there was no inheritance given them among the children of Israel. And here we go. These are they that were numbered by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who numbered the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. But among these there was not a man of them whom Moses and Aaron the priest numbered, when they numbered the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord had said of them, They shall surely die in the wilderness. And there was none left. There was not left a man of them, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. Caleb and Joshua. Remember the guys that didn't give an evil report about the land? Numbers 27. Then came the daughter of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Mashur, the son of Manasseh, the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of the daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, and Milcah, Tisra. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the princes and all the congregation by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Lord, in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin, and had no sons. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he hath no son? Give us therefore a possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought their cause before the Lord. So I got to read it again, because I got people slamming shit all around me, and I can't hear it. I can't focus. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Mashur, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of his daughters, because he had no sons. Remember? Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tisra. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the princes and all the congregation by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves, and he was not in the company. Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure. He was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin and had no sons. Why should the name of our father be done away? It doesn't say that they so they just said he wasn't part of the Korah problem when the other two stood up and spoke against Moses, and the earth swallowed up those two. So he wasn't a part of that. So if he died in his own sin, then he probably died at when they joined themselves under Baal Peor, when they joined themselves under the horse. I'm gonna go back to it. I want to make sure I get the name of the people right that they joined themselves to. Shittim. There you go. The daughters of Moab. That's what I was looking for. The daughters of Moab, the people of Shittim. Okay. So our father was not, our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he hath no son? Give us therefore a possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought their cause before the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren, and thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a man die and have no son, then you shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. And if he have no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he have no brethren, then you shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren. And if his father have no brethren, then you shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Get thee up into this Mount Abarim, and see the land which I have given unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast seen it, thou shalt also be gathered into thy people unto thy people, as Aaron. Yeah, okay, this is where he tells Moses he's about to die. And the Lord said unto Moses, Get thee up into this Mount Abarim, and see the land which I have given unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast seen it, thou also shalt be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother was gathered. For you rebelled against my commandment in the desert of sin, and in the strife of the congregation, to sanctify me at the water that is the water of Meribah and Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. I don't know what was going on. For you rebelled against my commandment in the desert of Zin, in the strife of the congregation, to sanctify me at the water before their eyes, that is the water of Meribah at Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. And Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep which have no shepherd. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take thee Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay thine hand upon him, and set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight. And thou shalt put some of thine honor upon him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. If you still sin, you're not obedient. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before the Lord, and his word, at his word they shall go, at his word shall they go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the children of Israel with him, even all the congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation, and he laid his hand upon him and gave him a charge as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. So that's numbers for today. That is definitely numbers for today. We get into the good shit tomorrow, and what I'll do, or not tomorrow, we get into the good shit on Thursday, right? It's going to be Thursday. So we get into the good shit on Thursday, and what we'll do at the end of that one is we'll do Deuteronomy chapter 1 also, because we're going to go from Numbers into Deuteronomy. That way we can just get this little Torah out of the way. I can say we did it. I mean, we did it. There's no hiding nothing. It just means what it says. Cannot still sin and know God. Moses didn't even get to go into the promised land because And Moses couldn't sin. Moses had grace. Moses knew, and that's why God's telling Moses, put some of your honor on this dude, so that way the children of Israel will be obedient. He just didn't get to go in because he fucking hit the rock instead of speaking to it. Let's see. Whoever DeFreak is, you have nothing. You have no authority. I'm not. There's nothing you can do. That's a done deal, man. When we sign someone over, it's over. And that's true shit. That is over. Just look at Nick. It's a pretty good example. And he still doesn't learn. Still running his mouth. Whatever. Not my problem. All I know is that the Bible means exactly what it says. And I don't know why Dave was in here. Dave, you should do the one we did before this on Numbers. You should do chapter 9 through 18, where we covered all them verses that you love so much. Covered the whole thing. Like, there's nothing to hide. So that being said, we're an hour and a half in. Do you want to do some Hebrews? Let's do some Hebrews. We left off at chapter 7, I think. Or did we? Yeah, we did chapter 7. Melchizedek. We're supposed to do 8. I'll start at 8. Oh. Oh, man. See, this is good. This right here. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there for another priest to rise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? This right there is showing you that perfection does not come by keeping the law, and you do not get in unless you're perfect. Period. Perfection comes by Jesus. If you actually believe in Jesus, then you believe He made you perfect. For the priesthood being changed, there is made also a necessity of change of law. For he of whom these things are spoken, for the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. And yet it is far more evident, for after that in the similitude of Melchizedek there ariseth another priest, who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. Oh, this is the verse I was looking at. For the law made nothing perfect. Well, here, 18 is just as good. For there's verily a disannulling of the commandment going before the weakness and profitableness thereof. Of the commandment, the law, the whole thing, all 613. There's a disannulling. Jesus fulfilled it. It's done. It's over for the people that believe in Jesus. There is no law. Before the weakness and unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect. Now watch what he says. But the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw near unto God. So right there, he tells you point blank, the law doesn't make anything perfect. The bringing in of a better hope does. If you really believe in Jesus, you are made perfect. No, that's them being a hypocrite. And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest. We'll just go to 8 because we did this yesterday. Hebrews chapter 8. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such a high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle which the Lord pitched and not man. The true tabernacle, right? The true tabernacle which the Lord pitched and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifice. Wherefore, it is of necessity that this man have someone also to offer. So, because the high priest, after the order of Aaron, right, the order of Moses, that right, which is the people, the priests that you see in the Catholic churches, the priests you see in the fucking synagogues and in the mosque, the Buddhists, all the priests that you see, they all do gifts and sacrifice going based on that law in their heart. So it was of necessity that Jesus had someone also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For See, he saith, or saith he said, see that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount. And we've gone over that pattern. The pattern of the tabernacle. Oh, stop it. Get out up here. Get up here. No, not on me. Let's see if they show it. Everybody here should know this. But if somebody stumbles upon it, is it going to show me what I'm looking for? It's a cross, first off. I mean, if you really look at the pattern of everything, it's a cross on the inside. It's also a cross on the outside. If you get to, like you can see here, this is like you've got your tabernacle and sanctuary, and you got that whole setup here, and then you've got the different tribes laid out. And the way the tribes were laid out from a vertical view, from an aerial view, it was a cross. So if you were to fly over it, helicopter, you would see a massive ass cross in the desert. Like you can almost kind of tell in here, but that's not what I'm looking for. Tabernacle cross. Let's see if they show it. There it is. Boom. That's what it would have looked like right here. And that's what he's talking about in Hebrews all throughout the whole thing. I mean, that's it. It's always been all about Jesus. Who serve unto the example of the shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee on the mount. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises through Abraham. Right? And that's the inheritance, man. The real Jews are the 144,000. That's it. The new covenant. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. If the law could make you perfect, there wouldn't have been a need for a promise to Abraham, right? The covenant made with Moses should have been enough. God wouldn't have had to fulfill the promise he made to Abraham. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. And that is actually, let me see. I should have covered this. Please don't fall apart. Here's chapter 8, verse 8. Doesn't give me where. Let me see this. I do it here. Make a new covenant. Jeremiah 31:31. There it is. So even Jeremiah, even in the Old Testament, he talked about this coming. And that's all it is. It's just the fulfillment of the prophecies. Jesus is just the fulfillment of the Old Testament. That's it. The New Testament goes right along with it, hand in hand, in absolutely everything. Cannot have one without the other. Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I'll put my law in their inward parts and write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. That's that law written on your heart. And if you break it, you sin. If you sin, you're of the devil. Jesus died to fulfill that law. That law has been fulfilled. So from fucking Noah to from Noah all the way to up till John the Baptist, right? They had to believe that God was going to fulfill the promise. That's what David believed. That's what Moses believed. That's what Job believed. That's what Abraham believed. They all believed. That's what Asa believed. That's what I think I mentioned David, right? And all these people walked perfect according to the Old Testament. All of them. Asa was perfect. Job was perfect. Job 1:1 tells you there was a man that lived in the land of Uz, and his name was Job, and he was a perfect man. Perfect and upright, I think is the exact words. David tells you in Psalm 101, verse 2, I will walk before the Lord with a perfect heart. It's the perfect heart. It's always been the same. It's never changed. And it was always to fulfill the promise made to Abraham. Absolutely always. For finding fault with them, that's finding fault with the old covenant because it doesn't make anything perfect. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So all he's doing in Hebrews 8, verse 8 is quoting Jeremiah 31:31. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them. See, they're identical. They're literally, it's the same author. It's so simple. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. And he tells you that here, right? He says, which my covenant they break. So he did not regard them. Even Moses tells you in Numbers chapter 14 that Moses told the Jews, God's not with you. You break his covenant, you're done. It's right here, Numbers 14. The author of Hebrews is the author of Jeremiah. The author of Hebrews is the author of Deuteronomy. The author of Hebrews is the author of Genesis. It's all the same thing. It's all the way down. Right here. And Moses said, wherefore do you transgress the commandment of the Lord? But it shall not prosper. Go not up, for the Lord is not among you. I couldn't be any clearer that you be not smitten before your enemies. The only reason he walked them into the land of Israel was to make the glory for his name in Egypt, right? Was to make sure everybody around knew who he was. And to this day, he still stands on that same thing, right? God's name is throughout all the earth because of that. So, and that was what Moses negotiated with God, Dave, when God was going to destroy all the Jews in the wilderness. Moses negotiated with God, did he not? He said, don't destroy these people, because if you do, then the Egyptians and everybody that knows we're coming and all of them are going to think that you couldn't do it. And God was like, you're right, I'll listen. And so he didn't. It's very simple, but that does not mean that God was among them. Moses told them point blank, he wasn't among them. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant and regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I'll put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. And that's the truth. He made all of you perfect. Every single fucking one of you. Everybody. He doesn't remember any sin. It's done, it's over. Jesus was the fulfillment. It's done, it's over. The problem is you don't believe it. The problem is you don't trust him. You don't trust what Jesus did. You don't trust that he ended sin. You don't trust that God kept his promise that he made to Abraham. You don't trust that God kept his promise that he made to Jeremiah. You don't trust the book. That's the problem. So God cannot deny himself. He cannot deny what he did. He cannot deny that he ended sin. The problem is you deny it, and that's the problem. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith, a new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. It's done, it's over. And you know that this is the truth because Jeremiah talked about it, and the fake Jews, the flesh Jews, Jeremiah is one of their books. They just don't listen to it. They ignore it. They don't know what it means. Then verily, the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service and a worldly sanctuary. Notice how he puts it there, a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made, the first wherein was the candlestick and the table and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all. which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot and had the manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant, and over it the cherubims of glory shadowing the mercy seat, of which we cannot now speak particularly. Even then, they knew you can't speak about that now. You can't recreate that now. You can try, but even trying to, you fail, because if you redo the holy oil, you sin anyway. Now, when these things were thus ordained, the priests went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the services of God. But into the second went the high priest alone, once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people. The Holy Ghost, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience. Now look at that. That law cannot make you perfect as pertaining to the conscience. And we just went over what in chapter 7 where he said the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did. He's talking about your conscience. It's a perfect conscience. Everything is perfect. There is no sin. It doesn't exist. Verse 10, which stood only in meats and drinks and diverse washings and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation. But Christ, being come a high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us, if you believe. For if the blood of, and I'm not adding that is the truth. If you go to John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever should believeth on him should not perish, but have everlasting life. The question becomes, what does it really mean to believe? And it means you got to believe every word written. Because if you still sin, then you still serve the devil, which is part of that written word. And it's not going to go away. That's the standard. It's perfection or nothing. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of a heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctify it to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God? Purge your conscience from dead works. Stop believing in sin. Start believing in Jesus. I'm not a liar, motherfucker. I read the book. It just means what it says. And for this cause, he is the mediator of a new testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, which they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. They which are called. You got to believe. For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of a testator. And this is where you see he's talking about that promise made to Abraham. For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth. So that promise made to Abraham could not be brought into effect. That testament, that covenant made with Abraham could not be put into effect until Christ died. That's what Isaac was the test of faith for Abraham. And it was the signifier of what God was going to do for Abraham. And that's why Abraham told Isaac he will provide his own sacrifice. He knew. He trusted him. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of the calves and goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop and sprinkled both the book and all the people. The book. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And all the people, saying, this is the blood of the testament which God hath enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry, and almost all things are by the law. Now watch this. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. So according to the law, almost all things only, because if you really go back into Numbers chapter 15, where he talks about their intentional versus non-intentional or full-blown intentional sin, there's no atonement for, according to the law. So even the Jews like Dave in the comments here can't be atoned. if he wants to go by that law. And his intentional shit, he has to atone for according to that law, which he can't even do, in order to be atoned for his non-intentional shit, according to the way his brain works. Jesus take all that shit and just said fuck sin altogether. It was therefore necessary that the patterns of the things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifice than these. For Christ is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. Nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entereth into the holy place every year with the blood of others. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. Sin as a whole is done by Christ, if you believe it. If you still think you sin, then you don't fucking believe in Jesus. You say you do, you pretend you do, you go to church every Sunday, you fucking judge everybody else and make yourself appear righteous, but at the end of the day, every time you sin, you serve the devil. Sin, repent, repeat, sin, repent, repeat, sin, repent, repeat. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world, but now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment, there is no fucking reincarnation. So Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many, so 144,000, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation. Pretty neat shit. Ooh. Hebrews chapter 10. For the law, having a shadow of the good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually, make the comers thereunto perfect. The law can never make you perfect. For then would they not have ceased to be offered? Because that the worshippers, once purged, should have had no more conscience of sins. He's telling you right there that once purged, you should have no more conscience of sin. Period. Dave, why'd you switch names? Chosen One and Killed, Church of Meat. Those are both Dave. Why'd you switch names? Once purged, you should have no more conscience of sin. So the law can't make you perfect, and then you keep serving the devil over and over and over. But in those sacrifices, there is remembrance again made of sins every year. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away sin. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared me. He said this. I mean, that's prophecy. That's coming from Isaiah. Hebrews 10, verse 5. Yeah, God is not a man that he should lie, Dave. So Exodus 32:33 is the truth. So you're cut off. Ooh. Son of a bitch. I didn't have it tied up. It's Isaiah chapter 1. Burnt offerings and sacrifice thou wouldest not. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast had no pleasure. That's Isaiah chapter 1, all day long, right here. Boom. Well, I guess here, then, Dave, according to you, then there can never, ever even be a Messiah, according to you. Right here. Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of the assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Dave, by your own thing, there can never be a Messiah. You'll never get atoned. You're out. You're done. Okay, so why are you still here? Why do you keep coming back, man? In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast had no pleasure. Hebrews 10, Verse 7. Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me. The entire thing is Jesus. To do thy will, O God. Above when he said, Sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin, thou wouldest not, neither had pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O God. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second. Took away the covenant with Moses and established the covenant of faith, by the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. And every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God. From henceforth, expecting till his enemies be made his footstool. For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified. So by his sacrifice, we are sanctified once for all. And by that same sacrifice, we are perfected forever. For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified, whereof the Holy Ghost also is a witness to us. For after that he had said before, This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. Now remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin. So if you have remission, if you're saved, if it's done, you have no more offering, no more repenting, no more burnt offerings, no more nothing, no more I'm sorry's, no more nothing. Just perfection. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiest by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way, which he hath consecrated for us through the veil, that is to say, his flesh. And having a high priest over the house of God, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. Without wavering means you don't ever waver, no stumbling, no nothing. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. If I went back to thinking sin exists, if I turned my back on the book, I'm fucked. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sorer punishment, suppose ye, shall you be thought worthy, who hath trodden under foot the Son of God, and hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and hath done so despite unto the Spirit of grace? All the people that tell me that what I preach is evil, you count the blood of the covenant as an unholy thing. To all you people that tell me that I'm my fucking your satanic doctrine bullshit, no, you're counting the blood of Jesus as an unholy thing. You people are fucked. You keep serving sin over and over and over and over. You're the unholy motherfuckers. And he died to make you perfect, and he did. The problem is you don't believe it. For we know him that hath said, Vengeance belongeth unto me. I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. But call to remembrance the former days, in which, after you were illuminated, you endured a great fight of afflictions, partly while you were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions. Right? That's that first part where you first become a believer and you start telling your family and your friends, and you start getting fucking fired and rejected, and you start getting thrown out of places. And partly while you became companions of them that are so used. And you learn who your new family is. For you had compassion of me in my bonds, and took joyful the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that you have in heaven a better and enduring substance. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. For you have need of patience, that, after you have done the will of God, you might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will not tarry. Or, for yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. Faith. Pure faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. Turn your back on the book, you're done. But we are not of them who draw back under perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. I'm one of those. I am fucking one of those. And I thank you, Jesus. Because that's it. That's it. I'm gonna wrap it up here for the night. 2 hours is good. That's target. So I don't have to rescind anything. I don't have to do anything. I'm perfect, dude. I know what I'm doing. So with that, I salute the brethren. Enjoy your night. Read your Bibles. Learn it and pay attention. Because shit's only gonna get worse. I love y'all.